Do you ever think that because of your partner's past, they are somehow not as pure, not as special, not what you envisaged? Hi, this is Noemi Seri, and I am a retroactive jealousy specialist. So we can look at retroactive jealousy from the perspective of a type of OCD, the contamination OCD, which is to say that you are afraid of being contaminated. And that plays out in the following way. There is a thought, then there is the anxiety that immediately follows the thought. And in order to get yourself out of this anxiety, these feelings, this discomfort, often unbearable discomfort, is to act out certain compulsions, certain behaviors that you probably have acted out previously. And then after doing it repeatedly, somehow you get to a point of temporary relief, some sort of short term relief, which can last for a few minutes, last for a few hours, last for a few days, depends. Now, the problem with this is that it actually perpetuates this. So the cycle just continues, which is to say, you never solve it, you merely postpone things. So you just have a temporary relief and then you go back and then next time it's even easier to just do it, or that is kind of clearly the path you will take. So if we look at it this way, at retroactive jealousy, so you might have a thought that, oh my God, or an image of your partner having a sexual relationship with their ex, or an image of their ex, because you might not have seen them or have seen an image of them, but you imagine something, and then of course comes those dreaded feelings of that turbulence, of that discomfort, that might be overwhelming. You just feel that you are in a sort of a nightmarish situation, and then you go into whatever compulsions. So the compulsions could be, for instance, asking a lot of questions and asking about their intimate relationship, their sexual relationship, and just going on and on. Or it might be that you start stalking them or monitoring their social media, or you might be just hyper focused on whatever they are saying, so as to find inconsistencies, so as to see in what ways they might be lying or they might be deceiving you. And then as you go through that, you might actually get some sense of relief. But as I said previously, this does not lead to solution, which is to say, it's not a matter of time. It's not a matter of having all your questions answered, because it is an internal issue. It is not something that is about your partner. If you're talking about a relationship where you are both committed and loving and have the same values, it is about something within yourself. Therefore, trying to remedy things through an external route, through either understanding your partner's past or making sense of it, or trying to change it, or analyzing it, is not going to, or trying to do everything so that it doesn't happen again. So what you want to do instead is to disrupt this pattern. So one thing that can happen, so let's say you have a thought, you have an image in your mind, you have something, instead of interacting with it, so continuing to engage with that thought, recognize that a thought is a thought, which is to say it's not an absolute fact. In fact, most of our thoughts, millions and millions, are are just silly, are just really silly, and they have nothing to do with reality. So you want to bring yourself back to reality, and you can do that with critical thinking. You can do that by actually asking yourself, is that even real? Is that true? And then when you have the discomfort that often follows, so these emotions, instead of letting those emotions guide you and letting those emotions really get you into a path, you can actually say, what if I learn? What if I build the capacity to actually stay with these moments of discomfort? I'm not saying to let yourself immensely overwhelmed. I'm saying that maybe a little bit more, just a little bit more. And the third thing, when it comes to compulsions, what you can do, for instance, is to bring yourself back into the present moment. And and that is doing something body based, like focusing. You could actually focus on parts of the body. Yes, it's a kind of mindfulness, or starting from the head to the toe or the other way around. You could focus on your breath. I'm not saying it is easy. It's not easy when you are in that, because you're in a sympathetic activation. Your body is activated to fight or flee. And once you have been in this for a while, or if you're more inclined, you might even go into freeze, which is to say it's really either of them. So you are first and foremost disconnected from the present moment, and secondly, you're disconnected from parts of your brain, frontal prefrontal cortex, for instance. You are disconnected from the parts of your brain that can actually make more rational choices. You're disconnected, for instance, from empathy towards the other, towards yourself. So if you are finding yourself blaming the other person, shaming them, and then you feel guilty, which is a good thing if you're feeling guilty. So don't feel guilty about feeling guilty. Actually, it's a good sign, but that's not the one you want to. So you want to solve the previous one. Basically, yes, we are inclined to do things that we would not usually do when we are in this state. So I'm not saying that it's easy, but you can actually train yourself. You can train yourself to act differently. And one easy way of doing it, of intervention without working with a therapist, a coach like myself, is to actually engage the body. Engage the body.